many times, yes, when a human has a feeling, it's very simple to define it in a manner in which it has always been defined. And a lot of what people are feeling now doesn't fit those definitions because it's a shift point of field alignment in which those emotions won't be interpreted in that manner in that field.
So we sometimes forget that emotions are stored within our body, within our system, but it doesn't mean that the experience that we're navigating right now is related to that emotion. That experience just allows us to release that emotion that has been stored within us for even eons, many, 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 many years. And as we release that emotion, then we're able to calibrate and we're able to expand and we're able to connect to a different part of us. And when we've done a lot of that work and the heart space opens, then we connect to a different space of who we are,
Mhm.
which is a multidimensional space. And that is even more interesting because now we are uh, observing who we are happening in many different timelines, in many different experiences, in other projects that are not entirely human.
Mhm.
And we see how everything moves in synchrony and how something that I'm doing as a human is impacting everything that I am in other realities.
Hello, Holy One.
Hello, hello, Holy One.
Hello, hello. Oh my goodness. I could feel you before we came in here, and I was just getting it all set up. And I could feel our hearts already communicating and our fields already communicating, you know? Uh, yes, I think it's even more than communication, but we do have that opportunity now to acknowledge that and to begin to work with that. There's a communication immediately when intention is held to be in alignment with one another, however the alignment is. Yes. And then in addition to a communication, yes, which is beneficial to the individualized sacred spaces themselves and into the unified field of this alignment as well, then there's this work, which is a weird word to use, but it works for the brain. Yes. That our, yes, yes, sacred soul spaces in union do. Does this does this make sense in some way?
It really does. And you did a video very recently and you explained the mechanics of how it happens. And in the case between us, it even happens even as being in very different spaces physically,
Yes, yes,
because the quantum connection has already happened.
yes, yes.
So it's like tuning into a station. And then as soon as we tune into the same station, the space is created.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Absolutely. And in a sense as well, yeah, it's almost like a bridge to the space is created as well because like you said to begin with, the space already exists in a sense in the quantum, yes, origin of itself. Yeah. Yes. Anchoring itself. Yes. The energies are anchoring themselves in a new point of reference to continue their own expansion, whatever they are creating. And I think in this case, a lot of what's happening with you and and I'm really excited to hear what your take is as well. But I do believe this has to do with this new field and this new earth and this new human and this new state of consciousness for the human collective. I know there's a lot more. That's not the only thing this is about, but I do know that's a focal point. Does that make sense?
It completely does, and we call it a new, like a new pathway, a new human. It's always been there. We're just registering a different aspect of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do that, then our creation is different because
Mm.
we create from a different lens,
I love it. Yes.
acknowledging a different aspect of who we are.
Its embodiment in those of us that are in that space of alignment at this now is activating it, the frequency, the vibration, the presence of that state of being inside the collective, which is then making it, in a sense, more available to be registered or picked up by others in that same collective, just as they could pick up fear if we were, yes, focusing on and intensifying and expanding and amplifying fear, yes, then that vibration would also be more available as well. Yes. So I think this is also a lot about balance right now, too, for this collective of the human, because they have not had a lot of that vibrational state or frequency of this space of themselves being in a remembrance of its sacredness or a remembrance of its divinity. Yes. So I think this is also about balance coming in to a big degree.
It is key, not only balance, but keeping that neutrality.
Mm,
At the end, the human experience is very emotional, but
mm,
emotions is how we register the experience. It shouldn't be what leads the experience. What leads the experience has to be the being, the self, the inner knowing. And we use the emotions as feedback to calibrate, to
mm.
adjust. And being in that neutrality, we're able to calibrate, we're able to balance, we're able to experience the emotions, but we're also able to going back to that center, to that peace, to that inner knowing. Where I call it like a 0 point space, which is that inner sacredness within.
I love that. That's beautiful and so, so important. So, so important. Because so many people are experiencing these spaces of remembrance and shift and expansion, and it's coming with some really big emotions. You and I had joy. That was lovely. But it was really big joy, like surging through in such a incredibly beautiful way. I could not laugh. Like it I was just overflowing with joy. Um and I do know there are a lot of people who follow my work and read my books and connect in with what we do, and they're not always feeling the joy. So what you just said is really, really important for that reset to that balance point, and the being to direct the choices, to direct the life, to direct the path, to direct the alignments, the connections, what they do with what they feel, and how they even interpret what they feel as well is a really, like how the feeling can place a definition, Many times, yes, when a human has a feeling, it's very simple to define it in a manner in which it has always been defined. And a lot of what people are feeling now doesn't fit those definitions because it's a shift point of field alignment in which those emotions won't be interpreted in that manner in that field. So that's very important what you said. Yes.
So we sometimes forget that emotions are stored within our body, within our system, but it doesn't mean that the experience that we're navigating right now is related to that emotion. That experience just allows us to release that emotion that has been stored within us for even eons, many, 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 many years. And as we release that emotion, then we're able to calibrate and we're able to expand and we're able to connect to a different part of us. And when we've done a lot of that work and the heart space opens, then we connect to a different space of who we are, which is a multidimensional space. And that is even more interesting because now we are uh, observing who we are happening in many different timelines, in many different experiences, in other projects that are not entirely human. And we see how everything moves in synchrony and how something that I'm doing as a human is impacting everything that I am in other realities.
I love that. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, yes, yes. And I love when you said the heart opens, because that's a huge part of this that I don't believe it gets enough attention. Uh, you said something to the effect of you allow the emotions, process the emotions, release the emotions, and the heart opens, and you move into a new space of you. Paraphrased the end there some, but yes. Yeah, I believe it's like even in some ways could be interpreted this way. It doesn't have to be, but I think it can be helpful for a human to understand that that heart, it's not so much an organ, but it's so in respects to what we're talking about with the opening, and then you shift into a new space of remembrance and knowing of yourself, more expansiveness of yourself. But for me, it's like a portal, actually. It's like an actual gateway to me, in a sense, gateway to more of my remembrance, my divinity, my source space, origin point, essence, all of these. Yes, yes, connection points of my vastness. Yes. I remember years and years and years ago, 7 or 8 years now, I was sound asleep one night in bed, and it was probably 4 or so in the morning. I just woke up so abruptly. It was weird. I had never had that happen before, and I've never had it happen since. But my eyes popped open, and I was laying there wide awake, and it was all instantaneous, very, very quick. Eyes pop open, body shoots up. I'm sitting straight up in bed, like a board, like right angle, straight up, and it just comes out my mouth. It's all about the heart. And I just sat there and I was like, and that was the beginning. I say the beginning like there's really ever the beginning, but you know what I mean. And then it was just like one thing after another, but I kept being taken back to that point of reference of the heart, the opening of the heart, the allowance of the heart, the trust of the heart, the I am frequency in connection with the heart. So I love that when you said the heart opens and you move into the next space of you, or that even that multidimensional point. If you're ready, when the vibration and the resonance is there, then that's the register you'll get. And that's important because some people could, judge themselves even because their heart is opening, but it's not to that degree yet. So the register is not going to pick up on that. Like several years ago, doing the Sedona event, I didn't have happening what we had happening the last time we did the Sedona event. But the myself and the people that were attending, we were in a different resonance. We were in a different vibrational state of ourselves, into which the heart was open to a different degree, and the register was able to come through because of that alignment. So I actually had a very interesting conversation with someone the other day about this, though. I think it was Jamelin from the community. Um, I believe that started at Conscious Life in LA. I don't think it started in like the shift point that we experienced. I know it's been happening for years, but something changed in 26 where it became more embodiment based. And yes, there was less of the yes, gotta, you know, clear this, shift this, release this, whatever, ancestral lineage. We're still having some of that coming in, but not like we were. There were years of working with that. And I think that's what was opening the hearts and shifting the fields into these higher resonances. But when we were in LA, and I'm pretty sure you were there for that, one I'm thinking of, it was the one where I spoke for the in with the group and I talked about the field landing. Like I could see it coming in behind me, which was us, but it was like there were no walls and we weren't in a room anymore. We were in like a construct, a void, you know. And yes, yes. So then when we were in Sedona and you and I had that space, and then there were other spaces with others there as well, but they couldn't have happened, I don't believe, if we didn't have the layup, in a sense, the preparatory, uh, yes, movement of energy, dialing in of frequency, if you will, in a sense. Yes, yes, to then be able to land the degree of it we landed in Sedona. Yes.
So definitely many levels of preparation for 2026. Um, the frequencies that have been available to us are very different. There's a different alignment on the inner sense of the universe that allows that emanation to come through. And the connection point is the heart. So when the heart is ready, it will pick the frequency and the shift will happen. And many hearts are ready now, today. And that's why we see that shift happening. And when we come together, like in collaboration, in close community, then that's easier because we help each other to open that space and keep it open for a while. It's a journey that I just love so much. And the thing that I've loved so much about this year is connecting with you because it's been quite a while since I've been able to talk the same language. I was like, oh, she does understand what I'm saying. I'm like, this is the first time I don't have to explain what I'm saying. This is easy. If
Oh,
it's
I love that. I feel the same way. I love that. When you spoke in Sedona, well, first I will say and lay at your feet, I knew this before you opened your mouth, you know, spoke. In LA, just being in proximity to one another, it was flooding through my being. Uh, yes, I didn't even have, I still don't really, words that are adequate to describe what I was sensing, registering, experiencing, just as we would stand in front of each other, whether we were communicating with our language of our human dialect or not. And I know you, I believe you registered it as well, just being in the vicinity of one another. And I'm really grateful. Yes, because that was beautiful, and it was like I had never met anybody at the Conscious Life Expo, and I meet a lot of people when I go there, but I had never met anybody where that happened at that level. I had never met anybody where that happened at that level. And then for you to come to Sedona and have that moment, and there were other moments, but that one just tops it. There were other moments that were really powerful and really beautiful, on top of Doe Mountain, when we went on the long, long hike. Oh my goodness. And then afterwards, many people went up the very public hike of Subway Cave. And I didn't want to. For one, I really just wanted to sit on the earth and be still. And I knew something really, really big had just happened in that area where we were all doing voice together, tone and chant and so forth. And I just needed to sit on the earth and allow. And I'm pretty sure you sat next to me. That was you to my
Yeah, I
side.
did. Yes.
And you know, I may make up my own version for my own heart, but in my being, a part of me said he knew he was supposed to sit next to you. He knew he was supposed to anchor and be at that space. And that was, what was the most important thing to do. So, so I take that with me as well as an incredible moment. And these are like moments I hold and treasure up there with the birth of a child. I've birthed two children and have a marriage that's lovely and I've had for 36 years. Those are like markers of a human life that you are grateful for beyond measure, right? And now I have these. And I'm like, who gets these? Like, this is incredible. Like, you don't know when you come into humanity, per se, you don't remember really that you're going to be able to have these or that they're waiting for you. I just am in awe of them. And that one in the living room, I still have never had a moment like it yet. And I mean, it just happened a few months ago, really, but I'm excited. I'm available. You know what I mean? Like to continue to know ourselves at this level. Like it's incredible.
It's a beautiful journey and it's a reflection of the possibilities that are available for many. And we serve as mirrors for others. And in our experience, we can share our journey, which is a very long journey of many, many years and many, many lifetimes. And it's a testament of what consciousness is capable of when when it fulfills its purpose and when its purpose is guided by love.
Mm, yes, that's important. Guided by love. Yes.
So I tell people um, that every movement, that every action you make should have a purpose, and that that purpose should be anchored and should be infused by love and by your soul. And when you make that connection, your creation, everything that happens around you, is just divinity in action. It's just a different journey. It's still human.
Mm-hmm.
It's still a human journey, but it has a different perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's beautiful.
And that's what I feel we are sharing with many, like those very special moments, those deep connections
Yes.
that bring other experiences in play, because we are at the same time in other places, playing this different roles and moving consciousness across the universe, but creating a different alignment, a different signal. So many can tune into that signal and just expand within.
I remember in Sedona when you spoke, because everybody got a chance to speak and share a little bit. And when I had not really heard you, I had not really heard you in this lifetime, at length. We had a little bit of a conversation, I guess, in LA, but not much. It was kind of fast. There was a lot going on. And when you spoke, you mentioned earlier like you were happy or joyful and felt, oh, I there's someone I can talk to. This person gets it. I don't have to explain it. They're here already. When you spoke, I double taked. I had to like look back at you because I was kind of looking around the room for a minute because I had switched positions because you took my chair to speak to the group, right? And so I was kind of getting the view of this space everybody had been sitting in but me. And I'm looking and you're talking and I'm like, wait, what? What is coming out of his mouth? Because it sounded as if I was still speaking to me. Like I was like, this man, he speaks my language. Like, who says these things but me? I about fell over. I think everybody in the room about fell over. They were just in awe. They were all like, whoa. So it is incredible to reconnect not only with a soul you know you've known and you know because it's still happening, it's another space of you that's playing out, but then to meet that soul in a version of itself that has remembered and anchored that remembrance and that, not equality, but somewhat of a balanced, coherent alignment of knowing is available. That is just, it's incredible.
And for me, in my journey, when I talk to my higher self, the last year, I was like in this deep conversation, basically saying, well, I'm kind of tired of being alone. Like I like this is difficult because I'm here putting everything outside and I feel alone.
Yeah.
So we kind of came to an agreement, and the agreement was okay. I'll keep like I will continue supporting this project, this consciousness experience, but I'm not gonna do it alone anymore.
Okay.
So you put in front of me all those people that are ready, where I'll find that family, that connection, that different space, and that started happening. Like it was just magical.
Beautiful.
I put that into the field, and the next thing I know, I'm meeting you, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. Out of all the people in that convention, that was the most pure and powerful connection, even without speaking any, like, no words. We, I think we didn't spoke like more than 3 or 4 words at all, but the connection was there.
I did a video recently with Jamelyn, again mentioning her twice now, but she works with me, so she's involved in a lot of the things I do. But you may have seen it. I really, really get you on not wanting to be alone because I mentioned in that video how I've been doing this for so many years and it really, really kind of threw me a little in a good way in Sedona because for the first time in 7 years at least, uh, people didn't like I would bridge people in. I could get them in and I could get them to tap in and remember to a certain degree and taste it to a certain degree and but I couldn't get them to sustain it. I couldn't get them to hold it. And so they'd come in and I would get to have people near me for a moment that got it for a moment. And it was exhilarating and beautiful because it's lonely over there. It's lonely over there. It really is. I get it, right? Because then they would go back. They would go back to life, regular life. And they would just go back into those routines and those programs and those belief structures. And and it would be all right because I didn't think it could be, honestly, I didn't think it could be different. I wasn't sure. I thought maybe this is the deal till I'm done here, and I could do it. If I need to do it, I'll do it, right? It's my personality. I'm like, you know. But yeah, when this happened, it the emotions were big because I had been so alone so long. And all of a sudden, I wasn't alone anymore. And it was like I had to figure out how to process that. It took me probably 4 weeks, like seriously talking to me, my being, listening with my inner knowing, feeling what I was feeling, crying. I cried a lot because I was like, what do I do with this now? Like, how do I be this version of me? And it was across the board. It was just so many different connections that I had made that opened. People opened. Their hearts opened. Uh, they were there and they didn't used to be. And so I really feel like and I'm not, I hope this is received in the right way. Yes, yes. But I feel like you heard me and I heard you before LA.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. The signal was out there. The signal was out there, and then we just converge and connect.
and we may not even, you may have known more in LA than me. I don't know. But I was still holding the alignment of complete availability, do what I do, show up, be that space, and be available to the movements, the shifts, the expansiveness, because I never want to box it. I always want to hold divine presence and just be available because you never know. You know, you don't, we're not, it's happening as we go. But I do believe you played a role because of that way in which we reconnected, even in LA, was the beginning, in a sense, for the human side of this. Possibly we could use those words. And then when you decided to come to Sedona, yeah, that I believe was what I needed, if that's okay to say it that way, to move this unit of this particular part of the spaces of, yes, those of us that are here doing this, that are here assisting, being the embodiment of the shift, uh, your presence of consciousness. Yes. And yeah, that alone, right? So then you get that in mine, in that proximity, that alignment, and you do these sacred site spaces, and you do these ceremonial alignments, and you grid and ground. You, like, I just see that like it was a massive embodiment grid moment of what we've both been carrying, in a sense of remembrance in our own knowings of consciousness itself and the vastness of it all, but then bringing it together into that space, and then it just infused the whole thing. And I think that's what helped them not go back. Because when we were in that one weird, like, wind tunnel cave on the side of the mountain, at the subway cave long hike, the turtle drawing on the wall, and we were doing the toning and the chanting, at that moment, that was when I knew they weren't going back across the bridge. I call it that. I know that's not perfect, but that was when I knew they were staying. And I almost fell to my knees because I felt like for the first time ever, I didn't have to hold the bridge open any longer. And I could let go because they had made it. And I know that's so
Yes.
weird, but like that's what my being felt. And I just dropped. And then they're like, "Oh, you want to hike? You want to hike Subway?" And I'm like, "Oh my, I just need to sit down. Just let me sit somewhere, please." I don't know if anybody knows what just happened, but
It's that they went across the threshold, and as soon as that happened, as you say, they will stay in that different threshold. For them or any to go back, it will need a very dense movement of contraction to go back and uh, like breach that threshold again, and that'd be very difficult. Um, but that possibility that was offered for many, and it's so important because it's differently. I mean, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of a different frequency because we're no longer tapping into a higher frequency and then going back to a lower frequency and just trying to, like, in that back and forth movement where you reach the peak and then you're down again. And it's a big swing of the pendulum for the first time in many, many years. And many, many different versions of the earth, we went across the threshold and we are to keep on expanding that threshold. And it's so big. And you and I, we see reality different. Like we are walking and we're seeing different things happening as we walk. And I wish other people can see the same things we see so they could understand why we make some choices that for some people are strange or like are just different. we are getting there. As the mind settles, as the heart opens, that possibility is offered to many, to see with the heart as opposed to the mind, to see with the heart instead of the senses, to experience reality with the heart, which is the way you experience reality, through the heart. And I do experience reality through my heart. And we see different spaces happening.
It's so beautiful. So beautiful. So vast. I just love, like, I spend a lot of my time, personal time, I just think about it and I feel it. Uh, I do it from a sense of knowing myself, if that makes sense. So, like, when I'm thinking about the vastness, it's like I'm allowing myself to think more of who I am, or like remember it, or like ponder it, or contemplate it, whatever word. But I always felt like that was helpful to me personally because I really do think what you focus on does expand. And I do believe that when I think about that and I talk to myself from that knowing, and I register my life and the people around me through that knowing, uh, yeah, then that is that's the vibratory alignment that I'm processing as. And I think that's hooked to the whole how we're seeing and feeling and registering and living through our hearts. Even though I'm using my human
Mhm.
mind to allow it to think and ponder and imagine and visual, because it can do that in connection with what you're feeling and registering and remembering. It's really funny though. I think the human mind also has so many filters in it, and I don't think we remember all of them, and it's not a bad thing. It can be just seen as a lighthearted, fun thing that comes with being human. But it's funny because I think, there's a tendency to say, oh, well, I saw this and I know, so we were this, this, and this exactly. And I think it's possible, absolutely. But at the same time, I think we're so much more than what we could ever begin to define. Does that make sense?
It does. And it's how you interpret and register a very specific frequency, and how your mind can create the picture of that frequency so it can kind of grasp
Yes,
the
grasp.
the nature of that
Yes.
frequency.
Yes.
But when we move it to a different level, like the mathematical level, the frequency is just so vast and so,
That's so fun.
yeah.
I love that you say mathematical level, though, because just the other day, like a couple of days ago, I started seeing, this is going to sound bizarre, but really what doesn't anymore? Uh, haha. I started seeing people as equations. I started
Yes.
seeing, and they were like a physicist would write on a board with like letters, and I don't even know what some of those things are they use. But I started seeing that. And then I started seeing that when a person shifts a point of consciousness, it can change a variable in their equation. And the equation creates a vibratory state. And so when you change a variable of the equation itself, you change a space of it that then shifts its vibratory state or its frequency. So, yeah, that was fascinating. And then you were talking just then and you mentioned mathematics, and I was like, oh, I started seeing people as equations.
And you can take mathematics and make it color, or make it sound, or make it geometry. And people can register people as colors or geometry. You could
Yes.
say, you could see, oh, this person is like this color and that color. And then you can really see when that consciousness shift happens, how the color changes, how the geometry changes, how everything aligns differently.
Mm.
And it reminds me of how fascinating is this human experience, because within a lot of limitation, so many possibilities, and
Yes.
it's part of the journey. Like, oh, we're here to overcome all these limitations and barriers that we set up for ourselves, so we can discover how limitless we are.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I love that. And it really does, especially if you begin the journey coming in with more of a very, we'll just use these words, 3D human life that kind of feels heavy. You're in a, specific jobs or relationships or whatever it is that you have in your way that you be you. If it's very, very 3D human based and you're coming in with the limitation view, it feels so slow. It feels so tight and like it's heavy. And you start to open it up, which is really starting to, you're just opening you, really. Yes. It's the reflection, right? And then that opening, if it's continued to whatever degree it's allowed and you're available to, it eventually shifts to where the it's like a tipping point of your own being in a sense. The momentum kicks in at a certain point, and you leave the state of that heavy and slow, yes, point of register, and everything starts to move so much differently that for me personally, it took me a little while to get a grip on time because time started getting really weird for me. And I have schedule and, all these things you got to keep track of with other people and other places on the planet that have different time zones, and that can get weird. We both know because we missed a call because we had a time zone thing, but it's because time is so trippy anymore once you're outside of that heavier flow state. It's not a judgment. It's not like, oh, I was worse then, now I'm better. It's just I was in a different frequency or alignment of myself, right? And so now in this one, it just moves so differently. I'm ready. I'm making a joke in some ways, but honestly, I do think there's something here as well. You see the movie The Matrix with Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
when he has to get away from the bullets and he's like, all of a sudden he's just moving really different. I'm like, hey, I'm not counting anything out because my life is becoming so incredibly like insane in the best way. I'm open. I'm open.
So that relationship we have with time, that perception of time is shifting. And it's fascinating what has happened. Even when you send that the next invite for today's meeting, my phone said, "Oh, you have a meeting at 5." I'm like, "No, it's not at 5. We clearly said it's 4." So that and I see that it's a loop happening right now. It's a space-time loop happening right now. It's part of it's part of the preparation for the summer solstice.
Mm,
Um, there are some points that we perceive as past version of ourselves that are converging.
mm,
So it would be very common to experience very or things or kind of have memories or even people popping up to our lives from 20, 25, 30 years ago, where major recalibration things are happening.
mm,
In the quantum space, what you do in the future affects the past, what you do in the past affects the future. So your present choices, how we are experiencing today, is shifting that previous choices that we did.
mm. I love that. Yeah.
And that convergence is happening right now as part of the summer solstice. So that um,
Mm.
perception of time is very strange right now because it could feel like sometimes it goes pretty quick, sometimes it goes very slow, and it's part of that unfolding and unfolding of time and space.
Do you ever feel like, yes, past spaces of your regular life, not like a past life, but like this life, you look at them, this sounds crazy, but they feel like they were another life. Like, so, like, I try to remember certain pockets. Like, somebody will say, hey, do you remember when we went here? Or do you remember when we did this? Or when we lived over there? And I'm like, We did? Like, I'm like, wait a minute. And it's not that I don't have a good memory or I'm losing, my memory ability or whatever. Even when I remember it, it feels so different than this space here that it feels like another life, even though it was this body and this soul that lived it. It doesn't feel like it. Does that make sense? It's in any
I,
way?
I even have what I call weirder experiences because I can go back to that very specific point and see different choices that could have
Oh,
happened
okay.
and
Yes.
could follow that complete different choice and
Yes.
say, oh, I
That,
see, I see myself when instead of breaking up with this person, we continue together and now we have a kid and now we live in this place. And I
yeah.
can see that whole, uh, I don't
Yeah.
know, time, yeah,
I said, I,
lifetime happening at the same time. And like, okay, no, but I didn't make the decision to be here. I
yeah.
made a different one and I start
Yeah.
bouncing back and forth. And it's like, oh, this is the decision I make, and this is what brought me here.
Yeah, that's a big one. I've done that. I do that as well. And only recently have I started doing that where I'll just play with it a little. I call it play with. And I'll just think about, I'll imagine and I'll go back to a space and I'll be like, I'll just do it to remember the space itself, but then all of a sudden I'll see offshoots. That's what I call them, like other potentials. And then but I could see the whole thing. Like you said, it's just like all of a sudden you're this overview of all the potentialities. And in essence, I kind of feel like that's not even correct in a sense because there's so many I could never see them all maybe but it's maybe the majority of the alignments that would have been the most prominent I guess or something like that. But yeah, that's trippy. That is really trippy. There's so many really cool trippy things that are happening and I'm good like you said earlier. It's an incredible experience to be able to have this life. It's yeah, it's so rare. That's my take. It's so rare uh and unique because of the space of reference of vantage and perception that I'm able to hold as this space of me that is so unique and rare in itself, right? Uh, so I'm really, yeah, it gets a little emotional, but like in a good way with the way the human feels. I'm very, very grateful and I'm aware of the rarity. I'm aware of the sacredness. I'm aware of the beauty. And I find myself even feeling it as I breathe, like I'm breathing it in. And it's actually on my breath and then in my form and then flowing. It's just this continual, deep connectivity of the rarity, the rareness, the beauty, and the being or the consciousness aware of itself and aware of it, if that would work.
And let me offer another possibility of what's going on because all this experience that has been registered as part of the human collective in this project that we call Earth is giving birth to other projects, is
Mm,
being used as the focal point to develop other conscious projects in the universe. So we are becoming that heart of the universe, that
mm,
place where we're emanating our experience or sharing our experience, sharing our journey, and birthing other projects of consciousness in the universe.
I
And
love
and
that.
that becomes more interesting and fascinating and profound, really profound.
Yes. I agree with you completely. And when I began doing this work, having the outreach, writing the books, teaching in 2020, I met, I believe I met these beings, that they're not in human form and they don't want to be named, in my understanding, because it limits and it restricts, and there's too much movement right now. The rate or the speed, even could be a word that's used, of this movement of energy is so great. It's so rapidly moving right now that definitions are not of great benefit. If that, we would be better off to trust and allow and listen with the heart, lean in and flow with it, right? But I met the beings in 2019, 2020, and there was a deep knowing of like a group that was formed. Yes. To work through and in within the human collective, embodied as human, and in connection with the ones that are, they're not in they don't show up in a body, they don't show up in a vision like an apparition. It's like a state of consciousness connecting in and communicating with you via a space of consciousness. And then I have seen them in light form, but only through my video content when I use my phone and I video and they come through the space and they're in different sizes and some colors and shapes and flashes and all this. And it's incredible. But the communication then was what you just said. Yes. To work with and through and as the human collective, to birth this new field alignment that would be like a foundational grid point in some sense, not earth related, but field of consciousness related. And that then it's going to be the birth point, in a sense, of worlds, worlds upon worlds. Yes. And the human collective being a point of reference as like a heart of. So your words align. I have to do my best to keep communicating in human words in English. They align completely. I'm going to use a phrase from the human world just to be funny because that would be good here because I'm feeling really emotional. Where have you been all my life?
I could say that back at you.
And it's incredible because when we had the moment in Sedona, even, like, I saw a lot. I saw a lot. Like, I couldn't even name everything I saw. But I remembered feeling like my body was in that room, my physical body was in that room, and your physical body was in the room, but my consciousness was moving rapidly through multidimensional spaces of us, right? And I could hone in on a couple, and one that I really loved is, and whether it's my filter making it, and that's okay, I still love it, or whether it's a absolute spelled out reality connection, but I knew we work together, like somehow in some capacity on some type of team. And it had to do with planet building and it had to do with keeping peace, but not like we didn't carry guns and like we weren't like that type of military based thing, but it was like peacekeepers, but like I don't know, but I knew that you had saved my life and I knew that I had saved yours. And I knew that we had been through a lot, like we had seen some spaces. and and that was just one little snip, like nothing compared to the rest of it. It was so much. It was so I feel like we showed ourselves some type of everything in an alignment of these souls. And I can feel it, but I don't know how to speak it completely.
There are so many spaces. And the experience I had was very similar because I saw setting up the foundation of projects, setting up the ground rules, guiding the projects, then nurturing the projects, and then being overridden by the projects, fleeing from different creations, experiences, wars,
Mm.
contractions, explosions, like kind of going into a laboratory and mixing different elements and see, okay, let's try this combination and see what happens. And then we go
Mm.
experience and it blew out and we had to start all over again and like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board and try a different setup and see how it works. Um, and and now
Yes.
well, I saw many different levels of councils preparing
Yes. Yes.
kind of, it's not like laws, but it's like uh, guiding principles of how consciousness will evolve
Mm.
in future projects. So almost like
Mm.
signing a lot of paperwork on and agreeing on these are the rules, these are the limitations, these are the possibilities, and we are upfront having that discussion
Mm.
with others, and we are the ones giving that green light, saying
Mm.
like, yes, we've tried all of this should work. What we're
Mm.
saying, what we're creating,
Mm.
it's a good possibility for the consciousness experience.
Mm.
And that is, I mean, it's beyond fascinating.
It's beyond fascinating. And I feel like you agree, and you said it earlier to some extent as well. That is happening right now. And this is happening right now. And those spaces of ourselves are assisting these spaces of ourselves as these spaces of ourselves are assisting those spaces of ourselves. And I almost felt like as well, yes, yeah, there's like, huiania koia, sania toa. Those spaces of us that are at the table, they know this space of us and they're saying they're so close. Give them a little more time. They almost have them there. It's really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful.
There's so many platforms being prepared and they're lined up for us just to take them and execute them and leave them and just embrace a different possibility. And we're just there, so close, so close. And I'm not talking about you and I'm talking about the
Yeah,
collective.
yeah,
The collective is there.
yeah.
Uh,
So close. Yeah, so close. Yes, yes. It's beautiful. It's perfect. I feel no fear towards it. I feel no apprehension. I feel no worry. I feel no even like, oh, we have to do more. I trust completely. I wake up every day, I go to bed every night. I'm like, it's all the way it's supposed to be. This is perfect. It's unfolding masterfully. It's designed to do this. I'm designed to do this. You're designed to do this. Others that are doing this, designed to do this. Uh, yes. I think that's really important, though, because I don't think you could function in this manner at this state of frequency if you had the fear that it wasn't, or that you were had to hurry, or like something like that. Yes, yes, but it's a very beautiful know that you know that you know. Yes, yes,
is that certainty from the heart.
yes, yes.
And and that guidance, we receive the guidance and we're like, yes, this is what it's meant to happen. This is what I need to do. And then that brings excitement and that opens possibilities. Um, that has been this year, me going back and forth to different places.
Mm,
When the grid started moving again, I felt so much joy in my heart because I love working with the grid and moving the grid and creating. But
mm,
it wasn't until this year that it started to move back again.
mm.
So I have one more trip to close a loop that is needed. I'll be in Maui closing some very interesting energy
Okay.
to completely connect the work that we did with Glastonbury, with
Okay.
Peru, with
Okay.
Sedona, with
Beautiful.
what Gabby's going to do in Michigan. So everything is
Yes.
going to be completely connected.
Yes.
And and it's so interesting because at first what I receive is like, well, you only have your route until June. I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? Um, and what is unfolding as we go through June is other possibilities opening that
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there in the past. So I for me, what is very beautiful is that even we having that perception of who we are, that different perception, having the possibility to be in this 3D anchored in who I'm, where I am, I right now, go to my 3D job and
Mm-hmm.
still anchor the energy in that
Yes.
place
Yes. It's
and serve as a beacon, as an antenna, as a resonance,
gorgeous.
so
Yes.
others can tune into that frequency.
Yes.
And lately, I've been going to stadiums with like 60,000 people cheering for um, two teams playing soccer, which that's happening in the US right now. And the excuse I have for myself, for my 3D human is like, yeah, you love soccer. Go to a soccer game because you like soccer. But in reality, what's happening is that that is opening a possibility
Mm-hmm.
that brings that excitement into my 3D so I can go and then move a different dimensionality
Mm-hmm.
and offer the possibility for many, many others.
Yes. Yes. 100% yes. Yes. It is the embodiment. It is the embodiment. You're embodying. I'm embodying, And in the most human way, in a sense, is the most powerful way. It's interesting because the spiritual world can kind of tend to want to get out of the humanness and more into the spiritness. But the power lies in the body. It lies in the embodiment. It lies in the humanness of it, bringing it into the relationships and the jobs and the everyday experiential spaces and the I am frequency, the origin point essence flowing within that now. That's when you get yes, magic.
Yes. And that is the invitation I have for many because as you say, the first kind of reaction is like, oh, I want to quit my job. This job is not
Mhm.
aligned. This is a
Yeah.
very dense job.
Yeah.
But when you realize that there's a purpose for you to be there, and when you embody who you are in that place, then, as you say, magic, we
Yeah,
create
it all
magic and
shifts. It
we
all
create
shifts.
other
Yeah.
possibilities. And that's the
Yeah.
invitation for many. Just allow yourselves to be in the space where you're meant to be
Yes.
and then expand and be that antenna and
Yes.
create that resonant, like quantum field that will shift everything around you.
Yes. 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 This has been an incredible conversation. This has been an incredible connection. And I'm really, really grateful because I know this is only the beginning. We've only just begun. We're
We
just
go,
we are just getting started, my friend. We are just getting
yes,
started.
yes, we are. What I can say is that definitely I'm gonna be investing because that's the connection I feel in my heart. Uh, I'll be in LA as well.
I was doing so good. I wasn't going to cry.
And it's that feeling that there's resonance that and there's love and and there's just divinity happening. And that's where I'm meant to be.
I say this with the most respect possible. And I've said this to people that find their way into this alignment and the resonance and the remembrance, and they really find it. They like really know it, right? But I mean it with the most love. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for finding
Mm.
me. I knew to put the call out. I knew to create and make the space. And I just trusted and allowed and kept doing it and kept doing it. And it's like hit a resonance now where those who have ears to hear are hearing and they're registering, and I feel like everybody, like in a sense, we're coming home in a way to one another. We're
Mm.
coming home, and it's time, and it's beautiful, and it's powerful, and it's sacred because that reunion, in a sense, right, is solidifying that new vibratory state of being. It's amplifying it, strengthening it.
I just have so much joy in my heart, and I'm getting very emotional listening to your words because I know it's. Please know that we found each other. You were looking for me as I was looking for you,
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
and it's so yes, such a big space, such a big space.
Well, thank you for also making this work time wise and getting on here with me. I just really knew it was time to talk. I wanted to give it a little bit of space because I was processing so much of it and just allowing it to move, um, and kind of land. That's what it kind of felt like to me. It was kind of landing with me as well. And then this is so fascinating to be able to communicate, and it is summer solstice tomorrow, I think. And my daughter gave birth last night.
Okay.
The baby came. The
They
baby
keep.
came. It was a long labor, but the baby came, and they're okay. Everybody's good. But yeah, it's just so much like, symbolism of birth, and even the contractions and then the movements, and uh yes, the shifts. Yes, the way that time is different. Yes. Yes. So much is within the space. And then this happens to be when you and I, have time to communicate here like this. Like, I don't think it's by chance. I think it's in alignment with the energies.
It is in alignment because when people listen to this video, they will have the possibility to connect to a different frequency. And it's that frequency that we are birthing together, that we are sharing with our voices, with our tone, with our heart. And it's being shared, in this case, through a screen.
Mm-hmm.
But people will have the possibility to connect with that.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for making this a possibility. Thank you for agreeing to be this space. So, okay, we'll share this on the YouTube channel, and anyone who resonates has that opportunity. We grid. We grid once a month. We grid every day and every breath, every step, but we acknowledge once a month together on Zoom. And there's a lot of information, yes, that can be very helpful to the mind as it catches on and as it wraps itself around these vastnesses of us, if you will. So if this resonates with anyone who's hearing us, yes, and this may feel like home to you as well, yes, uh, there's a space here. You are welcome here, Holy One. You are welcome here. You could join us if you feel aligned to do so. Yes. And if you have questions, you can ask, and I will do my best to answer. So much has been said here that hasn't been spoken.
And and as people listen to this video, there'll be a phrase or two that will get their attention. And I'll invite you just to listen it back again and write it down. And as you write it down and you listen that little phrase, that it could be a couple of words, you'll feel the shift happening within.
Yes.
Because there's so much information that just have happened.
This is a lot. There's a
Yes.
lot in this video.
There is a lot. Yes.
Oh my goodness. In the most beautiful way. And that is in full alignment with how fast this is moving. And it's not said as that's bad. It's good. It's good. I'm glad it's moving at the rate it's moving. Yes. But that's why I think these spaces like this have so much in them. And you can listen again and you hear something you didn't hear the other time because just listening once moves you a little bit
Yes.
vibrationally, frequency, consciously. And so then you listen again, you're not even coming in at the same point of view, reference, space of view that you came in before. So not only is that affecting it, but then also you're listening and you're hearing something, it's a lot of information you may not have pinged the first time. But yeah, it's incredible when you think about how information energy is moving even in these types of spaces and packaging itself so divinely, so divinely. We know what we're doing. We really do. Get out of the head, get into the heart. We do know what we're doing. Trust yourself and allow the space. Oh my goodness. All right. Thank you so much for being this space, Richie. Thank you so much. Would you bless it with me for just a moment before we
Yes.
end the call? Okay, so
Yes.
we're just going to allow a breath for just a moment. If you're watching, if you're here with us now, just allow your blessing upon this as well. We're blessing the movement of the divine within all the spaces of itself. Just allowing the breath. Yes. Just allowing the space. Yes. Just be with the space. Yes. Be with the breath. Root centers deepening, strengthening, anchoring. Peace and balance in the now. Peace and balance in the body. Breathing. Yes. 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 The energy on the head opening. Yes. Yes. The energy in the field around the body moving at a new flow of itself. Just allowing the heart is opening. Breathing. Yes. Yes. We hold this alignment together. Yes. And that is a very big word. Yes. Infused with a vastness of sacred divinity beyond our comprehension. We hold this alignment together. Breathe. Yane yakawai. Yes. Yau naneawa. Yakua. Yakua. Just allow the blessing. Hold the alignment, hold the intention, direct the energy. We bless this with our love. We bless this with our love. And we seal it now together, a unified field, in remembrance, in divinity, in peace. We seal it with our love. Beautifully done. Beautifully done. You can bring the focus back to the physical sight. If you had your eyes closed, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for blessing this space with us. Richie, thank you for being this space with me.
Thank you.
It is an honor, Holy One. It is an honor. We lay this at your feet, everyone. We lay this at your feet. Yes, it is an honor to walk with each and every one of you as well. We love you. We love you. We love you. I'll see you in the next space of us. Blessings, Holy One.
Many blessings, Divine One. We will
Blessing.
continue this journey together.
Okay. Thank you.